Good evening, I'm Ryan Graham. Thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay City Council has voted to rezone the former post office building at 33 Court Street South to allow for 70 residential units and commercial space on the main floor. The amendment adds a site-specific provision to allow non-barrier-free homes on the main floor and reduces the required percentage of main floor commercial area from 60 to 40%. Matthew Mills with Forum Studio Architects was at this week's council meeting to answer questions. McKellar Ward Councillor Brian Hamilton asked what the plans were for the building's commercial space.
Just given that's like some of the most public-facing properties. So what's the vision for there? I know this number went down from 60% to 40%. What do you envision there?
The building is expected to basically stay the way it looks now, with some new probably entrance canopies over the front, two entrances to define the apartment entrance, which will be the northern entrance on Court Street, and the southern entrance will be more the commercial entrance. So that face will be, I would expect the tenants that might go into a space like this are probably like an office space or something like that.
Now that the rezoning is approved, officials with the managing partners for the project, Summers & Co. out of Oshawa, say they plan to begin the renovations in the coming weeks. City Councillor Brian Hamilton organized a back alley cleanup in the downtown South Core yesterday, and he's encouraging residents all over the city to get involved in improving their neighborhoods. Lee Noonan was there.
About a dozen people came out to help clean this laneway near the corner of Dease and May Streets after McKellar Ward Councillor Brian Hamilton put out a call on social media looking for volunteers.
South McKellar Ward, like all of the city of Thunder Bay, has struggles with homelessness and addictions. And, we as a community decided that we would get in here and try to make a positive impact, certainly on this alley that has high levels of congregation. And that's what we're doing here today. We're not just cleaning up litter, we're revitalizing the common space.
Hamilton calls the laneway a ground zero for social issues.
Before we even started, we had just yesterday, we had some of the unhoused folks and some of the street involved people were down here cleaning up some of the paraphernalia and some of the garbage. They care too. Sometimes, they just don't have the tools to help or the inspiration sometimes. And we hope that this could be a little bit of an inspiration.
Cindy Long lives at the far end of McKellar Ward in Port Arthur and cycled across town to help out. She says it's important to remember that people can make the biggest impact by taking small actions right at home.
When I got here and there weren't as many volunteers yet, I thought there's no way, we're not going to finish this. It was quite a mess, and it looked a bit daunting, to be honest, but with many hands make light work, as they say. So you look around now and we're nearly done.
Nancy Bouchard lives in the neighborhood. She says she'll sometimes clean up the streets near her home on her own, but that it's nice to be out with a group, all working together.
So I was shocked when I first came here and seen how much garbage there was here, and now that it's clean, you feel proud, and maybe with the proudness of the community that you will keep it clean.
When Hamilton put out his call for volunteers, he also asked for artists to come help brighten up the area. Megan Quinn volunteered to help paint a mural.
Well, I think it's really important that we protect and communicate our love for the marginalized communities, especially Overdose Awareness Prevention Day, I believe, was just yesterday. So in light of that, I wanted to spend my time and energy in helping revitalize our community. I think it's a really important cause.
We're not here to blame or shame. We're just here to be part of the solution.
Hamilton encourages anyone who wants to help out and clean their own neighborhood to book the community cleanup trailer. That's available through thunderbay.ca/cleanup. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The Canadian International Air Show took flight in Toronto today, dazzling spectators. But one aircraft was receiving far more attention, the F-35 fighter jets. Canada has plans to purchase dozens of them, with Canadian pilots being trained to use them as early as next year. But much of it hinges on Canada's tumultuous relationship with our neighbors to the south. Camille Karamali breaks it down for us.
Here at the Canadian International Air Show in Toronto, plenty of planes and pilots for its 76th year. And although this year's theme is Canadiana, given the trade tensions with the United States, almost every pilot is from Canada. A lot of focus is on these, though. The F-35 fighter jet Canada had put in an order to buy 88 of them from the United States to replace its aging CF-18 fleet, with the contract finalized just about 3 years ago. But amid the trade war with the U.S., Prime Minister Mark Carney kicked off a defense review earlier this year to assess the F-35 commitment and potentially explore alternatives. But a recent report by the Office of the Auditor General of Canada recommended sticking with the F-35 purchase, and Canada has already financially committed to the first 16 aircrafts. Here at the air show in Toronto, they are fully expecting Canadian pilots to be trained and ready to fly the F-35s at the event.
The first Canadian F-35 will be delivered in early 2026. I know that there's a lot of training happening right now. They're going to be based out of the U.S. right now, but painted with Canadian colors.
The Department of National Defense told CTV News it expects the review to be finalized by the end of this summer. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Ontario is expanding its RSV prevention program to include people 75 years of age and older starting this fall. Vaccines will be available through provincial immunization programs to help protect more seniors as the temperatures cool. CTV's Pauline Chan reports.
Respiratory syncytial virus is so common that most children will have at least one infection before the age of 2, but it's also dangerous for older Canadians.
Ontario Public Health is going to cover the RSV vaccine for any Ontario resident over 75, in addition to those smaller, higher risk populations.
Those would include the immunocompromised, First Nations, pregnant people, infants, and those over 60 who live in long-term care. In Canada, there are currently 3 vaccines available for adults over age 60. They are Arexvy, Abrysvo, and a new mRNA vaccine called Mresvia.
Arexvy is adjuvanted, means it has an extra additive to the vaccine to propel your immune system. Particularly important in older patients. Abrysvo doesn't have an adjuvant. The other third vaccine is made by Moderna, so it's an mRNA platform, a different technology. Approved by Health Canada, not readily available.
The government has not yet announced which vaccine will be covered or whether they might be available through pharmacies. Dr. Christine Palme says the effects of RSV can be so serious that an independent senior can often experience life-altering circumstances after, like being forced into long-term care.
The reality is not returning to your home, so you've entered in one state, but you leave in a completely different state, is 8%, and that's harrowing to me, that you have a vaccine-preventable disease.
RSV season usually starts at the beginning of fall, and Palme says even people who aren't covered may want to pay for the $350 shot out of pocket or through their own health benefits to be protected. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The Empower to Recover Foundation returned to Thunder Bay for the Battle for Recovery event. This powerful one-day event brought together voices of strength, resilience, and hope to celebrate recovery and create meaningful conversations about mental health, addiction, and healing. The event had 11 guest speakers to inspire and motivate the attendees to continue the fight for recovery in their own lives and communities. Executive Director of the Empower to Recover Foundation, Jay Barnard, says the foundation's platform is revolutionizing addiction recovery.
So we're doing Thunder Bay's Battle for Recovery 2, which is massively exciting, and it's actually our kickoff to Northwestern Ontario's Battle for Recoveries, as we got 4 different cities this year happening in Northwestern Ontario, but we're doing it here in Thunder Bay, and we're coming back for number 2, and it's just a full day full of love, kindness, compassion, hope, and everybody's recovery is different, so not everybody's recovery is the same. A lot of people look at addiction and alcoholism and they think it's that. It runs deeper than that. So we really focus on the trauma, mental health, addiction, and recovery standpoint of things. We love bringing people together because it's community connection and collaboration.
The next Battle for Recovery event will be in Kenora on September 6th. And for more information about the Empower to Recover Foundation, you can go to their website, empowertorecover.com. The Seeds of Change project, led by the Lakehead University Agricultural Research Station, hosted a farm tour that connected diverse voices who are committed to protecting and reclaiming seeds and food systems. Seeds of Change has been growing watermelon locally, and as part of the breeding process, those melons were tasted and inspected in order to save the seeds from the best melons. Lakehead University professor Charles Levko says the program aims to give the local community access to locally grown food. Fort Hope farmer Rudy LaBosse says he would like to add watermelon to the farms in the First Nation.
So part of the idea here is to be able to save local seed that that again grows well here in this climate, in this soil, and make sure that everyone has access to it. So some of it is being sold by local groups, but a lot of it is just being given and shared with each other. And the idea is to have more sharing of seeds, so we can all grow more, and we can have more access to food that doesn't have to be shipped from far away with lots of chemicals by big companies, but actually can be grown by local farmers and local people.
Growing season is more, not as long as here, yeah, but we managed to get some watermelons done up there. So that's why we need to get a greenhouse and stuff like that, so we could start earlier in the season.
The local farms will grow between 500 and 1,500 watermelons, and officials say the food will be shared and distributed amongst the community.